Hey guys, it's Monet here. I just wanted to pop in really quick and say that a few podcasts ago, the one about stereotypes, I made some comments that may have been insensitive and not fully knowledgeable. Shocker, Monet not knowing things, I know, about Black Australians. But I wanted to pop in and say I'm sorry. It was never my intention to offend anyone. And thank you at Bottle Brush Boy, who came in the DM, slid in. He's an English teacher and taught me so much about Indigenous Australian culture. And now I know about the white Australian policy, Black Aboriginal folk, and all of that stuff. So thank you so much. And again, one love. Love you guys.
Hey guys, listen, this is a little trigger warning we're going to put at the top of the episode so you all know. We are talking about some really heavy stuff. It's all about racial injustices. There is talk about murder. There's discussion of sexual assault, police brutality. So if any of that triggers you, this was really fucking emotional. So just, if any of that is not good for you, then please sit this one out.
My name is Bob the Drag Queen.
And I'm Monet Exchange.
And this is Sibling Rivalry.
Today we discuss what's going on in America.
Hey girl, how are you?
Good, girl. How are you?
I think that in this moment, I'm probably more affected than I've been at any point during all of this, this madness. I don't even feel like myself, to be honest. I was wondering if we were going to even be able to do this. I just done like an interview with Eureka and Shangela, and I just woke up to some really disturbing stuff on the internet, and then I decided to watch the news because the president was going to be addressing the nation, and I got chills. It was like probably the scariest thing I've ever seen in my life, to be honest.
Well, I did not see the. Well, just so you guys know, today it is currently the 1st of June, at about 7:30 p.m. on 2020, just so we're all clear, because I know with all of this, a lot of things are probably going to happen quickly and change quickly, so we just wanted to let you guys know where we're at and what's going on currently, so that when this is released, whatever happens between now and the release, that we're as current as we can for right now.
Yeah. So I woke up to this tweet from Donald Trump that I don't know how it scrolled across my my platform, but I want to read it to you, okay? Mm-hmm. Which I couldn't believe it. It said, he was quoting someone that says, "I don't see any indication that there were any white supremacist groups mixing in. This is an Antifa organization. It seems that the first time we saw it in a major city was Occupy Wall Street. It's the same mindset." And then Donald Trump quoted that and said, "True." And it was really weird to see that Donald Trump had woken up that morning and tweeted out at 8:20. His first tweet of the day was him absolving white supremacists of any wrongdoing in what we're currently going through. And I just could not believe that the president was tweeting in support of white supremacists, using the words white supremacist group. Well, he actually spelled supremacist wrong. He said supremacist. But he said, he tweeted out defending white supremacist groups, which was insane.
Well, I mean, for me at this point, that is not shocking to me. I think that throughout Trump's tenure, for lack of a better word, as a president of as the president of the United States, I think that he has always had this trust and, dare I say, love for white supremacist organizations. So that's not shocking to me. But you would think that in a time like this, where the country is so heated and so not even divided, we actually have a lot of people who are on the side of sorry, everyone. We have a lot of people who are really realizing and are becoming more woke in terms of race relations. Like you have people who, as Trixie put, who are non-racist who are switching to being anti-racist. And I think that you think that something in the room, someone in the briefing, someone in the room, someone would say that he would have some kind of awakening to that. But I'm not shocked that he is praising these people because his pattern of behavior has proven that that is the side of history that he wants to be on.
Yeah, but it's just the audacity. And then I was just watching the news because Trump was addressing the nation. Mm-hmm. And so we're watching these protesters who are truly, truly peaceful protesters. They're sitting there with their hands up, saying, hands up, don't shoot. They're singing. And then these, what looks like maybe military officers or just heavily armed police march in on horses with riot gear, and they started launching tear gas into the crowds. Like, I'm watching it on TV, and the reporters are like, the reporters were like, they weren't doing anything. They were like, I'm telling you, we were here. They just weren't doing anything. And then the police started launching tear gas into the crowds. And then the president comes out and he says that he is asking for all of the governors to deploy military troops using the National Guard to come in. And if they don't do it, he will do it for them against their will. So he's essentially just said that no matter what, they will be deploying U.S. military troops on U.S. citizens in the United States of America. And then I watched him tell everyone in D.C. that he was enacting a 7 o'clock curfew, and he told them at 6:30.
Yeah. This is similar to what happened
at 6:30. He was like, if you're... Go ahead.
This happened in LA over the weekend. They said it's going to be an 8 o'clock curfew, and then they pushed the curfew to 6 o'clock, and which they started telling people at like 5:35, 5:45, like the broadcast over people's cell phones, like those like emergency alerts. It came out at 5:30 that the curfew was 6 o'clock, or at 5:45, sorry. So people who are on the front lines in California, in LA County, they're getting this while they're there. And you know, I was on the protest. I'm sure you've done protests before. When you're marching and you're rallying and you're protesting, you're not on your phone. In fact, many of the things we've seen from people like AOC and celebrities, it says leave your cell phones at home, so don't even bring them. So you're sending this over a telephone broadcast when A, people don't have their phones, and B, you're not even looking at your phone because you're set and you're focused on rallying and marching. So it is a trap to incarcerate people, to get them in trouble, and to get them fired on by rubber bullets. I've seen so many reports. There was a really big story going around this morning about this woman who was on the front lines. She was bleeding on, bloody murder on her face because she got a rubber grenade launched into her forehead. There was this guy who got one launched into his eyeball, all for protesting and marching peacefully for the majority of people who are protesting and marching. So it seems like the government is attacking its citizens in a very violent and very
I don't think it seems like. I think it is what's happening.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem like people are being attacked violently. If you said a woman was bleeding, that's violent. Yeah. And I just watched them launch tear gas into a crowd of protesters. So they were trying to clear out a path between the Rose Garden and some church that apparently every U.S. president goes to. And so the president could go over there for a photo opportunity. He just delivered this really weird speech where he's like, I am your law and order president, and I will restore law, order, and I will do it now. But
you know, these are all the things that Trump campaigned on. He campaigned that he will be this no-nonsense, tough, very toxic president. And I think that, so like when like people are like surprised, I'm like, he literally, like, this is what he said he would do. He said, I'm going to be all these things. When he was making fun of Muslims, when he was making fun of people who were disabled, when he was saying that I can stand in the middle of Fifth Avenue and I will shoot someone in the face. That was, to me, that was a major act of violence. And I think that he's coming through on all those promises that he campaigned on and won.
Well, it's also, it makes me wonder too, because like you kind of just grow up under the assumption that this could not happen in this country.
Right.
Like, you grew up under the assumption that this happens, this does happen. Like, we all see it happen. It's a thing. But you kind of just grow up under the assumption that it just cannot possibly happen in these United States of America. And then what makes it really uncomfortable is that I am fully watching it happen in these United States of America. And there was a moment where it's one of those things where it makes me wonder because, as whenever you grow, there's growing pains, and when you grow, you have to change everything. You have to change your clothes. You have to change your shoes. Otherwise, what's going on is just uncomfortable. So America is growing, but it's not changing its clothes. It's not changing its garb. It's just stuck in its old. It's literally stuck in its old ways. But the country's still growing. The demographic is growing and changing. People are changing every day, and there are some people. As you get closer and closer to equality, there is no gaining of power without a loss of power.
Yeah.
And the shift will not be easy. And as we get closer and closer to equality, that is when people who were up here before start to feel oppressed. So now they feel like something. I mean, I got really insane today. Some fucking. Do you know Ben Masters, the porn star?
Ben Masters, the porn star. I do not. I can look him up real quick.
He's this porn. Yeah, look him up. He's this porn star, and maybe we can grab a timestamp and throw it up in the video at this point as well. Anyway, so he is this porn star who tweeted out this insane video.
What did he say?
I mean, it's better if I just play it for you. Listen to this shit.
And 2 months ago, I went to the liquor store to get a bottle of wine, and a black guy walked in, and he asked if I could give him money, and I said, "I'm sorry," and he responded saying, "Don't say, 'I'm sorry,' say, 'I'm sorry,' like a man." And I'm sorry, it's just how I speak, unfortunately. I'm totally not trying to be negative or discredit anything.
And he does this, and he goes a bunch of stories about how black people have done him wrong at some point. And at the very end, he's like, so that's why I'm not going to march in Black Lives Matter. And if those people come to like the Pride Parade, then maybe I'll go to a Black Lives Matter. And what was making me think to myself, I was like, first of all, the thickness and denseness of this fucking, there's this new term around, it's twink, where they spell K with 3 Ks in it. And I was like, for you to think that first of all, do you think there is going to be a Pride Parade this year? That's just one. There's not going to be a Pride Parade this year. And then the fact that he felt so comfortable to post something like this online. And I think it is because people like the president have emboldened people to have opinions like 100%. This and come forward and say things. And it's now in vogue to be racist and problematic, and that the fucking Meth Gala DJ, whatever his name is, do you remember it?
Oh,
I can't remember his name.
I don't. What is the Meth Gala DJ?
I can find it because Nick was over here. We were like going back and forth. His name is Alec Brian Letty.
Alec Brian Letty. There we go.
So the Meth Gala, for anyone who doesn't know, Meth Gala was there was this party in Hell's Kitchen. Where all the gay, it was in the height of quarantine, and they all got together and did drugs and did it was a rave. You know what a rave is? It's where you go. A circuit party is where you go, you do drugs, you drink, you get
dance all night until like
dance.
7 o'clock in the fucking morning, and you're drunk, you're high and drunk until the next day. But what the gag was, you had so many people prominent in nightlife. There was this one guy, he was a porn star, and the gag was a week before or a few days before, he did a whole interview saying like how he was spending quarantine, how he was isolating. Ian Frostock, whatever his name is, how he was really getting right during quarantine and just being by himself and isolating. Cut to, he's literally I don't know if he was throwing the party, but he was at this party and tweeting to his like 50,000 followers, or was it 10,000? Anyway, he had between 10 and 50,000 followers, somewhere between there, and he's like showing everyone his party. And then Nidra Bell, aka, do you know Nidra Bell, Chris Weaver?
I know Nidra Bell from The Voice.
Yeah, Nidra Bell from The Voice was there. I mean, in front center in the camera, kikiing, woo, woo, kitty, kitty, ka. And then the next day, this video started making the rounds. And girl, people were letting them have it. People were going off on them left, right, and center. And a lot of them ended up deleting their profiles. Like, I mean, who people like identified them. But Nidra Bell was weird. She made a statement after the whole thing. She did a live and she was talking about it, but nowhere in her post was she sorry. She was apologetic, but she never said the words "I'm sorry." And it made me think of something that you always talking about. Yeah, you can be apologetic, but what are you doing to atone for that? Like, okay, then do a digital live show and contribute all the money to yada 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 yada. But it was just very, very that, and it just felt very insensitive and not even being truly sorry for their actions. It was really it was wild.
So this, anyways, the DJ of that party posted this on Facebook. It says, so I get hired to DJ a cute house party of 20 to 30 people during a pandemic in hopes to just have one fun night in lieu of the social distancing and COVID. Also to bring back a glimmer of hope that COVID will be over soon and we can all really be back together again. And somehow I put thousands of lives at risk and even become a meth head clown. How fun. But now somehow half the country can riot on the streets, destroying cars, homes, attacking the police in groups of hundreds because they think it is a form of protesting to get justice. Although the police officer was charged with murder and is in jail, so not sure why we're all rioting since it's never a protest. But a herd of sheep is if one says ba, they all say ba. People cannot think independently of the social majority, so just herd with the rest of the sheep out there. Also, good deductive reasoning that could help. That could be very helpful to a lot of you. A bunch of silly hypocrites, and it's interesting to me that people think that the protests, the riots, and the looting
are all because of just one incident.
So I feel like all these people who are emboldened to say all these problematic things, it's because we have the leader of our country saying these things on their Twitter. I just found a random tweet of Trump tweeting the N-word back in 2013.
Really?
And that's the president of the United States of America.
Oh yeah, it comes from the top down. People see the person who has the most power is in the highest office in the land. If they say, "Oh, if he can do that, look at me. Of course I can." You know what I mean? Like he has emboldened all these people, and this DJ guy who tweeted that he's just one of millions of people who feel and are acting this way. The guy who owns Schmackery Cookies down on 45th between 9th and 8th Avenues in Manhattan on the same road as Moulin Rouge. I don't know the name of that theater, but that theater where Kinky Boots and Moulin Rouge are, what Kinky Boots was, Moulin Rouge is. He and his partner, they did a Facebook Live or Instagram Live or some type of video, and it's making the rounds too because they were like, they do this weekly or nightly, some type of bike ride with a bunch of people, like up to like 40 people, and they put all these lights on their person and their bike, and they ride around New York City. I think sometimes drinking a little bit, whatever the case may be.
I saw them. I ended up seeing them when we went to go pick up Patty, and you and Patty and Austin went one way, and then me and Jacob got into a different car. We saw all these bikes. I was like, "What's all these bikes with lights on them?" Like, that's a weird form of protest, but
that's what it was.
Turns out it was them.
Yeah, and he was like, they did a video, and they were like, "Hey, listen, for everyone who loves to do our weekly bike ride, listen, the bike ride is still on. I know like all these like protests are going on, and again, I'm summarizing these aren't exactly what they said, but this is the sentiment of what they were saying. I know that all this like crazy stuff is going on outside, but like our bike ride is still on. We have nothing to do with that protest. We're doing our own thing, and we're having a good time. Pay no attention to that. Our ride is still going on. All right, guys, it was very that. So just to see the insensitivity and someone who is a business owner in a very queer neighborhood, queer space, and I'm sure they have lots of patrons. Bitch, I've been a big patron of schmackeries. So just to see, and then people started posting pictures like of them from their vacations and all this stuff, and of course everyone in their circle of friends and their community of people are tall, what seems to be cisgendered white gay males. Workout gym buddy types, and it's just like they clearly don't have friends who are people of color or are sensitive to that segment of people. So they don't have black friends, they don't have brown friends. All of them look and act the same way. It was gross. Bob?
Yeah, Yeah, I'm here. It is. I don't know. This feels like I could say this feels like the past, but this whatever we're in right now feels like any time from before I was ever born. I mean, this slightly feels a little bit like 1992 with the Rodney King riots, but I was so young. I was 5 years old, and I vaguely remember the effects of the Rodney King riots for the years to come because people mention it a whole lot in pop culture and in media and the news. But I was 5, so I don't remember it much. But this is like wild, and it's even at that time, George Bush only used the U.S. military to stop the riots that were happening just in L.A. And right now, and that was the California Coast Guard. And right now, he's using the entire force of the U.S. military on U.S. citizens. There were tweets of him tweeting people in Iran saying, in all caps, "Do not kill your protesters. Do not kill your in all caps to the leaders of Iran. Do not kill your protesters." When it comes to Americans, what he said was, "When the looting starts, the shooting starts."
Oh my God.
What does that say about the value of the lives of the people protesting who don't have guns? And there's also a false narrative that the people at the protesters are the ones inciting the violence when that is not necessarily true. I just saw on the news with my own eyes how they were launching tear gas and marching horses into these protesters who were just with their hands up, literally just saying hands up, don't shoot. And then I've had friends in LA who were like, I was there, and they just started firing rubber bullets at us, which, by the way, just for the record, rubber bullets are not actually made of rubber, just so everyone knows that. Rubber bullets are technically non-lethal, but they can be lethal. You're supposed to shoot them at the ground so that deflect up and hit people, but there have been reports of cops just shooting directly at people's heads, which can indeed kill you. And then there's also another false narrative that the people who are participating in the protests are the exact same people who are participating in the looting, which is not necessarily the case.
Not true. There are so many videos. There's a video of this, I don't know what city it was, and I should have said it, but I didn't, but of this black young lady, and she's seeing these two white women covered, like, all you can see is the slits for eyes, and they have, like, covered in black, whatever, in black fabric and black clothing, and they're going on to Starbucks, and they're taking black spray paint, and they're spraying Black Lives BLM all over the building. They're like breaking windows, and they're like, "Hey, what are y'all doing? Like, stop doing that!" And they're like, "No, we're doing this for Black Lives Matter." She was like, "Well, I'm a black person. I'm telling you, do not do that, please. Like, do not because when you see these buildings graffitied with Black Lives Matter, all this stuff, they're not gonna say, oh, they're saying, look at what these black people are doing to our businesses. Like, which is the narrative that is being pushed around the world
at this point. Which is exactly
what
the thing that Ben Masters was. This story that Ben Masters was just spinning on his Instagram was a story that because black people did all this stuff to me, I won't be doing anything for black people because of everything black people have done to me over the course of my life. So then you go back to your Starbucks where you used to work, where you used to get coffee every morning, or whoever owns that franchise, and you think to yourself, look what black people did to me. And also there's also another narrative. People aren't realizing that a lot of the people who are doing looting, some of them don't have anything to do with the protest. Some of these looters are just opportunists using the protest as an opportunity to go in and get their own little thing.
Jake Paul, that really problematic YouTuber, the one who got in trouble for going to the dead garden or like the dead forest. Yeah, there's a videos of him in Arizona in the middle of a looting thing, and he's like, "Oh, I wasn't looting. We were just like documenting the whole thing." And it's like bullshit. But it's like people like Jake Paul. He's like in this Fresno mall, and they're like. And I watched the video. Yes, there are one or two brown folk there, but the majority of these people were white kids. You know what I mean? And no shade to them, but it's like the narrative is going to be, look at what Black Lives Matter did to our mall. Black Lives Matter came in and they looted and they broke down our store. And the Black Lives Matter is the organization that is taking the heat for that. But I do want to give a nod and a shout out to Target, because Target basically said, loot our stores, we'll be fine. And not in those words exactly, but Target put out a really, really, really long statement. They was like, I'm gonna like read it really quick. We are a community in pain. That pain is not unique in the Twin Cities. It extends across America.
Don't read it so fast. Slow down. You're reading this. You're like speeding through it. It's an hour-long podcast, Monet.
The murder of George Floyd has unleashed the pent-up pain of years as the killings of Ahmaud Arbery and Breonna Taylor. We say their names and hold a too long list of others in our hearts. As a Target team, we've huddled, we've consoled, we've witnessed horrific scenes similar to what's playing out now, and wept that not enough is changing. And as a team, we vow to face pain with purpose. Every day, our team wakes up ready to help all families, and on the hardest days, we cling even more dearly to that purpose. As I write this, our merchant and distribution teams are preparing truckloads of first aid equipment and medicine, bottled water, formula, baby diapers, and other essentials to help ensure that no one within the areas of heaviest damage and demonstration is cut off from needed supplies. Our store and HR teams are working with all of our displaced team members, including the more than 200 team members from our Lake Street store in Minneapolis. We will make sure that they have their full pay and benefits in the coming weeks, as well as access to other sources and opportunities within Target. We'll continue to invest in this vibrant crossroads of Stewart, Longfellow, Phillips, and Powderhorn communities, preserving jobs and economic opportunity by rebuilding and bringing back the store that has served as a community source since 1976. So basically saying...
Did you say
yes,
full pay and benefits?
Full pay and benefits, and also
I mean, they may as well
opportunities
just
within
fucking
Target.
they may as well just at Ellen next time, girl.
Yeah, so basically, like Target, like they understand, and they're not like saying so for all the people being like, yeah, but look what they did to Target. Target is like, we'll be all right, we're fine. You know what I'm saying? And that's what we need more places to say. And I want to shout out also people like Aquaria, who have been so vigilant. Trinity the Tuck, and who have been so vigilant and have been really using their platform and their voice. Aquaria has been shouting out these designers like, where the fuck are y'all? Y'all use black models for all these beautiful African models from the Sudan, wherever. And now is the time for you guys to step up and be active in this fight, and y'all are just being radio silent. So shout out to Aquaria. I really want to shout her out. She's really a fucking fierce ally.
It just really has blown my mind how, especially in the queer community, how these folks have just started turning against black people. Mm-hmm. Or did they start? Or have they been that way? That's the real tea. I mean, I saw Shea Coulee retweeted a video of a guy who decided to attack some protesters. He decided to attack protesters in his neighborhood, and then the protester knocked him out. Punched him. He fell down and he hit his head.
I saw the video, yeah.
So then he went home, not knowing that there was a video of it, and he made up a whole
by Madison
lie.
Beer from Super Secret Celebrity Drag Race. Madison Beer caught it on her video.
Yeah, so he went home and he made up this entire like crazy fucking lie. Shay, can you look on Shea Coulee's Twitter? You'll probably find the video, and there's like a tweet right underneath it. He was like, I was just at my 12-year-old brother's birthday party, and then all of a sudden these Black Lives Matter people, thugs, came up and hit me with a skateboard, and 6 of them jumped me and beat me and almost left me for dead. And then someone DM'd him and he was like, yeah, there's no video of it. I'm so sorry there's no video, but it happened. And like, I can't believe I had to go through this. But he fully lied. That's not what happened. He ran up to someone, tried to attack them. They hit him instead. He fell down. And then he tried to act like he got jumped by 6 thugs out of nowhere. And I'm like, you really just turned like... I don't know if I can even say that that's turning on us, because that person was probably never with us to begin with. Right.
And I think this goes back to what you were saying earlier.
So I'm trying to find it. I'm looking down. I'm trying to find it. Keep talking.
This goes back to those people that you were saying, the Trumpian people who he has just emboldened them to be out and honest with their racism as opposed to being covert racist. They're like, oh no, Trump is in office, bitch, I can be racist as much as I want to be. It's just like that guy Austin was showing me earlier, this guy who had a crossbow, Bob. He went into his car and he pulled out a fucking crossbow and he's like wielding it into a sea of protesters, acting like he's about to shoot them with his crossbow. And then some protesters got around him, they snatched it and they all jumped him to get to so he could not shoot them dead with the crossbow. And then he went on and these idiots think that no one saw it, and he was like, yeah, I was just in my car sitting in traffic and these protesters came and they knocked me and they beat me up. Cut to the video is circulating now, and now he looks real stupid because we see you with this fucking crossbow attempting to literally kill people in the street.
So I found the post. He has now made his profile private. It said, peaceful protest, I think. I was minding my own business in front of my residence when thugs and looters started stealing from small businesses that we all protect. I said, stop stealing from these people, and they bashed me with a skateboard. 6 thugs almost beat me to death and killed me because I told them to stop looting from my community. I am forever changed. Meanwhile, that's just fully not true. The video surfaced and they found out mistake, and then someone wrote him and they wrote that he wrote this letter back. Thank you so much. There's a Twitter video going around showing me and my boyfriend pushing people off our property. That was after we asked them to leave us. I was celebrating my nephew's 12th birthday party, and I couldn't take it anymore after I saw people looting, and I was pissed off. After I confronted them, I was bashed in the head with a skateboard. There's no video of that because my boyfriend and Mai was trying to protect me as soon as possible. People know I'm not the villain, but I will let them know people won't steal from us. And I'm like, bitch, there is a video. There was no weapon. There was no skateboard. There were not 6 people. It was you versus one person. You got your ass handed to you.
Also,
but then you go back on your social and you say, look what black people did to me. And then people believe that narrative. And I'm seeing this narrative being played out over and over and over again. People saying, look what black people did to me, when either black people did nothing to you, or you're just spitting this crazy narrative being like, this is why I'm not going to help in Black Lives Matter because black people did this to me, when it's just a fully fabricated story.
Well, you know what, and this is one of the most disheartening things is seeing in the news so many different stories of police being so violent. There's a whole, I posted on my Facebook yesterday, last night before I went to bed, it's a whole 4-minute video of just in the past 2 days of police being so brutal and so violent to the protesters. I mean, when they are complying with what they are asking, they're like, move this way and get out the street. The person turns around and is walking the way that officer is asking them. An officer literally takes his fucking boot and kicks this person to the ground. And the guy falls to the floor, and the other 6 guys, they all jump this guy. It's like, how is this our reality right now? And then you see things like, I have the stories here because I'm just so, right before we started this podcast, about 2 hours ago, what's her name? Yasmin Jackson, who is Joe Jackson's granddaughter, Michael Jackson's dad. She was stabbed 7 times in a racially charged attack. She was minding her own business.
Is she dead or is she alive?
No, she's alive, but she has a really brutal, crazy stab on her face, that's about 4 inches long, and she has a really deep one in her leg. And then she was like, and then she posted an Instagram story of the one in her leg. And she's all stitched up now, and she posted one on her leg. She's like, this is gonna haunt me for the rest of my life because when the woman stabbed me, she looked me right in my face and she twisted the knife as it was inside of me. It's like people don't even understand the generations and the years of trauma that black people will endure after this because of all of this. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's like the generational repercussions of all of this, I think about more. Like I posted on my Twitter and my Instagram, that little girl, Philando Castile's daughter. Every time I think about it, I get so emotional because that little girl, to see, she has no idea that her dad is dead. She sees her mom in this car screaming in pain. And she has to be the strong one for her mom and she has to be like, Mom, please don't scream. And Mom, please don't cuss. I don't want them to kill you. And to think that her whole life, that is going to be in her brain, in her mind, and the same people who, that she is supposed to trust, these cops who are supposed to keep her safe, the people she's supposed to call if she is in trouble or she's getting raped or whatever, those people that she is supposed to lean on, she can't, because these are the people killing the people that look like her. And that, I mean, every time I think about it, I get so emotional. I feel for that little girl, and you know, and now it's also, I don't know, it's just that I just feel every time I just think about it. I can't think about it too long, because I just think about that moment for her and the trauma that she'll have forever.
I've seen the video. It's so hard to watch, and it's hard to keep seeing all these videos every day, and you just wake up and then there's a new one, and then there's no shortage of videos. And I saw this video of this young man. He's 21 years old, and he's in the front yard of his apartment, and he's got his hands up, and there's like cops pointing guns at him. And one of the cops in the videos yells that he's pointing the gun at him because he ran a red light or ran a stop sign. And there are these cops with guns drawn on this man. Guns, multiple people with guns. And the guy is he's a grown man, and he is crying, and he's just literally begging for his life. He's just begging, please don't shoot me. I'm so scared. And he's like crying like a baby. And he's crying. And he's like, I'm just scared. I'm scared.
Emasculating people, making them feel like nothing. Like
it's not about emasculating. It's dehumanizing.
Dehumanizing.
Fuck it, demasculating. Taking away someone's man. You're taking away your humanness. You see what I'm saying? So this man is literally begging for his life, and then I've seen a video of George Floyd. He's literally on the ground, literally begging. He said, "I just can't breathe. They're going to kill me." You're watching someone's last moments, and it's been broadcast for all of us to see all across the world, and we just can't stop seeing it. And then for the leader of this country to come out, and then instead of standing up for that, he just yells out stuff like, he tweets out that white supremacists have nothing to do with this. And then, other fucking people out here telling me why they won't stand up for black people. And it just seems to like illuminate so much. It feels like the covers have been pulled back and we're seeing all the nasty shit that's been there the whole time.
It just, in all of that, I think that another startling thing that I'm just noticing is that even in this, in us pulling, as you say, pulling back the curtain and seeing all of this really, really, really seriously racist underbelly, is that it's still, people are still just slaughtering people. The young guy, James Skurlock. Bob, it happened yesterday. It happened last night in Omaha, Nebraska. He was protesting. They were out there, and this gentleman literally, he pushes him to the floor, and he pulls out a gun and shoots this man in the street. Literally just last night. So it's just like these people, they have no shame, and they're saying that he was defended. So the Omaha prosecutor says white bar owner will not. A white bar owner killed black protester in self-defense. So he is, at this moment, he's not being charged. No charges have been filed. Imagine shooting someone in cold blood, and it is on video. People have seen this video, and they're saying no charges will be filed, self-defense. That is the immediate response. It is just,
and then you have Donald Trump coming on television saying, if you are protesting, you will be persecuted to the fullest extent of the law with maximum jail time. But anyone doing any of this stuff to the protesters or to black people are being, they're getting nothing.
Nothing at all. Nothing. And it is also, and again, protesters like you, people are out here protesting peacefully, listening to what law enforcement is saying, but still protesting and hands up, don't shoot. And you had literally thousands of people going to state capitals with assault rifles, guns, machetes, crossbows, axes, whatever you are, storming the state capitol because they want to go back to eat at restaurants and get haircuts. And those people are good guys, but people protesting for equality are thugs. It is just the double standard, and it is just blatant. That's why it does not surprise me. It's so blatant. It's so out in the open. They're not trying to hide it anymore. It is just, they're like, yeah, this is how we feel, and what? That's what it feels like to me.
Yeah. It's
it just doesn't look like change. Like, how can you see change? I honestly don't know. I don't feel hopeful one bit.
It doesn't make me feel at home in this country. It doesn't make me feel welcome in this country. For the first time in my entire life ever, I thought today, like, where would I move? I literally thought that today. Where would I move? Where should I move? For the first time, I just got a fucking...
It's a curfew.
Yeah, curfew effect.
Yeah, curfew. Austin just
Sorry.
yeah.
Sorry, everyone. We just got, the reason my video cut out for a second, we all just got a curfew alert.
New York City.
Like, I don't feel like this is a place where I would feel safe. And by this place, I mean my home. Anywhere from sea to fucking shitty sea. You know what I mean? Like, is this what Trump meant by "Make America Great Again"? Does this feel great?
I think so. I mean, I genuinely think that this is what they mean. I genuinely believe that. I believe that 100%. But it's also, in my mind, I think, what is next in terms of the election. And I know. Again, Biden is not my first choice, my second choice, my third choice, my fourth choice. But at the end of the day, if, Biden was to win the office, please, dear God, I know at least there's a lot of work to be done in order of fixing things with him. But at least I don't think this would be our reality. Or, okay, I don't think this would, again, Biden coming to office will not fix racial injustice overnight. We all know that. But I think that not having the person at the top of the country not sharing that same mindset and rhetoric as the racists who are living in our country, I think it would help. You know what I'm saying? That's why when people are like, what are you doing? I'm like, I have to vote blue no matter who, because I know it will help our situation and not hurt it even more.
Well, what's upsetting is that, like, and I heard people saying it 4 years ago with Hillary and Trump, they were saying this is what we have to choose from. It's the lesser of two evils. And I feel that even tenfold this year. And this is like, part of me is like this, like Americans have shown us with their votes, with their dollars, with their social media, with their businesses, with their words, with their tweets, with their posts, with their everything. They have shown us time and time again, they really don't give a fuck about us. And that's what it feels like.
Yeah.
Like that's what it feels like. And it just, and it makes you think about that in the face of everyone you see. You just think, like, you don't give a fuck about me.
Yeah.
Or people who look like me, or people who stand up for me. And you just don't feel welcome. And I know, guys, this is not like a normal Sibling Rivalry. I don't even know how long we've been talking at this point. I don't know if this is short or if this is long. I just don't even know how much more I can talk. I just feel like I feel as tired as I've ever felt in my life. I've never felt this tired.
I've never
felt this tired in all of my years. I've never felt this tired. I don't feel like being funny. I don't feel like putting on outfits. I don't feel like playing a video game to take my mind off of it, watching TV.
Yeah.
It just, it really doesn't feel good.
It really doesn't. And honestly, and I tweeted that earlier too. I'm like, people understand, people who are just getting hip to the struggle and who are just starting to fight. It's like, Black people as a whole have been fighting for 5 centuries to be free. For 5 centuries, since the start of slavery.
In this country alone.
In this country, we have been for 500 years. So it's like, bitch, and again, I'm only 30 years old, you're only 33 years old, we have just joined the fight, but bitch, I am already exhausted. You know what I mean? It is exhausting to have to fight to be a human being. It is exhausting to have to fight to exist when the only thing that is different than us is the color of our skin. Like that, like it is a level of exhaust that I can't even verbalize, because I just think about people who are still alive and who have been fighting since the 60s, since civil rights, since before that. Like people who are enduring this now after all of that. It's like how do you keep hope that change would ever happen when it's going on 80 years and it's still, for all intents and purposes, the same?
And on top of that, I'm like getting calls after calls, text after text. How are you? Like, yes. I mean, well-meaning people. I'm like, let me tell you right now, if your fucking Black friends don't respond to your text, it ain't about you, Mary. It has nothing to do with you. Like, Don't be like, you? Like, I don't have time to cater to your needs when I'm trying to like keep my head above water. on a
Please say that shit
level,
again. Say that shit loud, girl. Thank you.
And like, what do I need to do? It's like, fucking figure it out. Now, so black people have been put in this situation, and now it is our job to tell you what to do to not be this way. I've had too many conversations with too many fucking people this week alone about all this shit, and it's just too much.
It's exhausting. It is exhausting.
It is too much.
But
the truth, I don't want to feel hopeless. I want to feel like there's an end to this, and I should have fucking known some shit when I fucking saw abortion laws going back on the fucking books. That was a shit. It's like slowly but surely everything that was undone is being everything that was done is being undone in that same order.
Yeah. But I mean,
in the same order, we're just going backwards in the same order.
As Amanda Seales says, whatever your form of activism is, fucking do it. If you're a writer, bitch, write. If you are, because that is a lot of I think people like, they're like, I don't know what to do. It's like, whatever your thing is, fucking do it. If you are a preacher, go and preach. If you are an artist, go and make some art. If you are an entertainer, go entertain in what way you know how in order to affect change. You know what I mean? So when in doubt, do your thing and stop asking black people to tell you what to do. Bitch, you have a phone. As you always tell me, bitch, your phone has every answer to every question you need to know.
That's true. Fucking look it up.
Use your phone.
You have the answer to literally every question in the world on this fucking iPad right here.
Eric Garner.
John Crawford III.
Michael Brown.
Ezell Ford.
Dante Parker.
Michelle Cuso.
Laquan McDonald.
George Mann.
Tanisha Anderson.
Akai Gurley.
Tamir Rice.
Romaine Brisbane.
Jeremy Reed.
Matthew Ajibade.
Frank Smart.
Natasha McKenna.
Tony Robinson.
Anthony Hill.
Maya Hall.
Philip White.
Eric Harris.
Walter Scott.
William Chapman II.
Alexia Christian.
Brendan Glenn.
Victor Emmanuel LaRosa.
Jonathan Sanders.
Freddie Blue.
Joseph Mann.
Salvador Ellswood.
Sandra Bland.
Albert Joseph Davis.
Darius Stewart.
Billy Ray Davis.
Samuel DuBose. Michael
Sabbie.
Brian Keith Day.
Christian Taylor.
Troy Robinson.
Ashams Pharaoh Manley.
Felix Cumey.
Keith Harrison McLeod.
Junior Prosper.
Lamontez Jones.
Patterson Brown.
Dominic Hutchinson.
Anthony Ashford.
Alonzo Smith.
Tyree Crawford.
India Kagger.
Levante Biggs.
Michael Lee Marshall.
Jamar Clark.
Richard Perkins.
Nathaniel Harris Pickett.
Benny Lee Tigner.
Miguel Espinal.
Michael Noel.
Kevin Matthews.
Betty Jones.
Quintonio Legrier.
Keith Childress Jr.
Janet Wilson.
Randy Nelson.
Antronice Scott.
Wendell Celestine.
David Joseph.
Callan Rockmore.
Deshaun Perkins.
Christopher Davis.
Marco Loud.
Peter Gaines.
Tori Robinson.
Darius Robinson.
Kevin Hicks.
Mary Chuzillo.
DeMarcus Seamer.
Willie Tillman.
Terrell Thomas.
Syville Smith.
Alton Sterling.
Philando Castile.
Terrence Crutcher.
Paul O'Neill.
Alteria Woods.
Jordan Edwards.
Aaron Bailey.
Ronell Foster.
Stephon Clark.
Antoine Rose II.
Botham Jean.
Pamela Turner.
Dominique Clayton.
Tatiana Jefferson.
Christopher Whitfield.
Christopher McCorvey.
Eric Reason.
Michael Lorenzo Dean.
Breonna Taylor. James Scurlock.
George Floyd. Oh, it's really affecting me a lot.
Wait, Bob.
Yeah?
I love you.
I love you too, man. A lot, actually.
I do
Despite
too.
everything you've done. I'm just kidding. I love you a lot.
Starburns Audio, a podcast network.